Joining me right now, Fox News' Todd Starnes. Scott Bolden back with us as well. All right, I know you want to sound off on this, Todd, so I'll start. You know, we're all for free speech, but I would argue that Bank of America and Delta Airlines here, they're basically exercising their free speech. They don't like what they saw.
Absolutely. And look, I fly Delta, cash my paycheck at Bank of America. I say good for them. Look, there's nothing in the Constitution that says they have to spend their money on this great big steaming pile of thespian garbage. So, look, I think it's a good move. Shame on the New York Times, by the way. They're sticking with these Shakespearean folks.
You know the New York Times has a different view of this entirely, shall we say. Let me point out Bank of America's statement. They write, the public theater chose to present Julius Caesar in such a way that was intended to provoke and offend. Had this intention been made known to us, we would have not sponsored it. Scott, you know, they're definitely provoking and they're definitely offending here.
Yeah, they
which is their right to do.
Well, there's First Amendment, but I got to tell you, for me, even as a Democrat, and let's not forget about Ted Nugent or Kathy Griffin or even this play, it's disturbing to me that while we may have divisive presidents, he's still the president, and while they may be divisive, and we can detest the president, whoever's in there, the allegations or the references to physical harm in any level just isn't appropriate because it's the office of the presidency that's really super important. And secondly, you don't know who your free speech is going to, who may not be able to sort through or intellectualize what's on stage or what's being promoted by any individual. That's dangerous. It's dangerous speech. And I really think all of us, as divided as we are as a country, should get away from that.
You know, here. I'm glad to hear you say that, Scott. Todd, Delta's making a point that this is basically just in poor taste. In other words, they don't want to be associated with something that crosses the line, as they say, on the standards of good taste. And it really seems as though lately we're crossing all kinds of lines. And I hate to bring it back to Comey, but he also crossed a line there, you know, writing down that memo, calling his friend, having his friend leak it to the New York Times. I mean, when we talk about good taste in general, we seem to be lacking that right now as a society.
Well, we certainly do, and that's certainly evidenced by what we're seeing on our television screens and what we're seeing on stage these days. This anti-Trump hatred. Remember what happened when Vice President Pence went to go see Hamilton and how he was lectured from the stage. Again, it seems like something's happening in the theatrical community, even at the Tony Awards on Sunday night, where we're seeing these actors and actresses, people who play make-believe for a living, try to voice their political opinions. Maybe they ought to just stick with what's scripted for them.
Well, you know, it's on both sides, right, Scott, though, right now? We have gotten that political. Think about Under Armour, the company that, you know, makes the sneakers and the sporting gear. You know, their CEO came under fire for essentially saying that, you know, he kind of liked some of the economic policies that he was hearing from Donald Trump. And before you knew it, you had athletes getting all upset, people boycotting the company. I mean, it's happening on both sides right now in a way that really, I think, again, is unrivaled. People are so riled up.
Yeah, you know, Michael Jordan 20 years ago was asked why he doesn't endorse candidates, Democrats or Republicans, and he said, both buy my shoes. And now we seem to have lost Michael Jordan's thought process here, because corporations, entertainers, you name it, have a very defined reason for either supporting this president or not, or supporting or opposing Barack Obama. It really doesn't matter. We are more willing, and I think because there's no one that has any mixed feelings on President Trump. You either like him or you don't like him, and it's deep dislike or deep commitment, if you will. I don't know about that,
though. I mean, you think about all the people that elected him, right? There are a lot of people that might have been very conflicted. There were people that were longtime Democrats that felt as though Hillary Clinton no longer represented their party and who they were. And I do think that that's a big part of why he was elected, especially in the Rust Belt.
Well, that was his electoral base. But I can tell you right now, those same independents and Democrats that were frustrated, they're certainly regretting that vote right now, and Democrats are trying to make them regret that vote in anticipation of 2018 and 2020.
See, I think that the problem right now, Todd, is that the country has veered off into a land that many don't like, right, economically, in terms of security. And even when it comes to sort of the willingness of people to say these outrageous or do outrageous things, I'm thinking Kathy Griffin. And so Americans see their sense of normalcy sort of slipping away from them, their chance at the American dream slipping away from them. And along comes Donald Trump. And he represents to many Americans the opportunity to restore that. Isn't that sort of what's going on, that many people sort of see him as their last hope?
Well, I think so. And again, I believe that President Trump, at the end of the day, is going to be judged on bigger issues like the economy, for example, getting Americans back to work. And that's what he's focused on. And I know that's what the American people are focused on. But meanwhile, you have the Hollywood types in the mainstream media and those in the fake news that would rather focus on these other issues and not the big news, which is that more Americans are getting back to work.
Do you think they feel a lot of pressure to do that? I mean, do you think that they feel like they have to? I mean, if you're going to be a success in Hollywood right now, Scott, I don't think you are going to come out for Donald Trump.
No, you know, I'm not, but here's the deal. The reason you have these individuals, entertainers, and companies who have a visceral reaction isn't because they want to get back to America and make it great again. It's because Donald Trump, in their opinion, his policies are so divisive and in many instances racist. For example, he wants to keep the Mexicans out because of a wall. He wants a Muslim ban, if you will. He's cut major funding for the arts and others in his budget.
You're throwing a lot of things out there. What I'm saying is,
that drives that narrative. I'm entitled to that opinion to keep nothing at all.
He has over and over again made the
Muslims out of this country is
rightly
racist.
so, that if you're going to have a country, you got to have borders, right? It's not a Muslim ban. If it were a Muslim ban, he would have banned a whole lot more countries.
The president called it a Muslim ban.
You're talking about rhetoric on the campaign trail and what has actually transpired.
He just tweeted it a week ago. He just tweeted it a week ago.
Travel ban. Travel ban. He made the point of calling it a travel ban.
Muslim
He never said it was a Muslim ban a week ago. He called it a travel ban. I think they're distinctly different.
During the campaign, he called it a Muslim ban. Exactly.
You don't think that once you're president of the United States, I don't think that that's relevant, what he said on the campaign trail. Once you're president of the United States, no, I do not.
Why did so many people vote for him then?
Once you are president of the United States, you are privileged to information that
we walk away from everything he said. We would just walk away from it.
Unbelievable. I'm out of time. I always love seeing you. And I always love it when we fight. Good to see you guys. Thank you so much.
Thank you.